Welcome, everybody, to the Board NBA YouTube channel for more pick and roll. This is the NBA discussion and betting show where we bring in Pips and myself, Jacob, to talk about the NBA and, of course, go through the official NBA bets over the course of the show. This show is, of course, part of the Hammer Betting Network, so you can visit thehammer.bet for more sports betting content. But if you're in it for the NBA stuff, make sure you are subscribed to the Board NBA on YouTube. If you're watching over there, also be sure to smash the like button. Follow us on Twitter. And if you're listening in podcast form, please take a bit of time to rate and review 5 stars if you have not done so already. And it's been a difficult week for us with injuries. We had the bad luck with Jared Allen a couple of nights ago where the bet really had no legs. We don't really know if it would have hit anyways. It just never got a chance. Well, I think even worse yesterday, it looked like the bet, there are no guarantees, obviously, but it did seem like with just over 1 quarter left of basketball that Tyrese Halliburton would get 3 more points or assists, and he wasn't given the chance because he did not feature there. Buddy Hield had easily cleared. So that one stung a little bit. Let's go to the record on the season. 60-44, still a great record, of course, plus 8 units, but 0-2 on the picks yesterday. Injury was a problem for that first one. Second one, Giannis had an outstanding game, yet had his lowest points total of the season. So really strange one there. Pips, your thoughts on both of these picks?
So obviously, Buddy Hield and Tyrese, it went like expected. Tyrese was on a way to clear his regular season line, and yeah, this was just unfortunate. Like as you said, Jared Allen was like, we didn't know even if he played, if he was going to hit or not. But this one was like 95% clears if he came back. Like
Yeah.
that's unbelievable. And yeah, let's talk about Giannis. I'll just say that's the lowest scoring game of his career with 35 minutes. Like since the rookie year, and I won't count that because like he wasn't the same player. But
Yeah.
since the rookie year, this is the lowest scoring game when he gets 35 or more minutes against the Hawks defense, which is the worst rim protection in the league. Like
Yeah. What happened?
so, he started very aggressively. He had 6 field goal attempts in the first 5 minutes, and the next 22 minutes, I think he attempted only 1 field goal attempt. And the defense wasn't anything special. He just decided not to even try because they were up like 25 in the first quarter. Like they were making every shot, and he was just facilitating. He had, I think, 20 rebounds and 10 assists, something like that. And yeah, he wasn't even trying. But they were up so huge. Like I think he thought this is an easy winnable game, and they were up 25, and Hawks had a lead with 4 minutes left. So such a weird thing, and they ended up winning because Hawks shot themselves in the foot in the last couple of minutes of the game. Yeah, unbelievable the way they were playing. I'm actually amazed that they managed to turn around the game because they played completely like complete nonsense of the game. Like they will leave Bucks with wide open threes, and while they will shoot step back, pull up mid range shots all over the game, and like, how are we losing this game? Like, well, I mean, we won't talk much about this, but it was a very weird game, and we actually had a chance because the game was close. But yeah, the worst performance of Giannis for like last scoring
Well,
performance of
yeah, I was going to
last
say,
10 years. Yeah.
I think I can't quite remember the box score. He had like high tens in assists and rebounds to go along with it. It was just the scoring that was off. It was a season low for scoring there. And I was kind of wondering, like, maybe it was like Okongwu was doing a great job on him, but it doesn't seem like that was the case. And I remember there was a worry that somebody mentioned on Twitter that is it a problem that it might be a blowout? The spread was only 4.5 in this game. So there wasn't really any sort of blowout concerns about this, but just a weird game, unfortunate loss there, and unfortunate with the injury, but we hope to get it back today. Hopefully, shake it off and have a really good day today, as one of the viewers is hoping for. So we're gonna let's hope to have a really good one here. We have 3 official picks coming for you guys a little later. But sticking, I guess, in the negative energy, we want to do a discussion about which team currently is in the worst spot in the NBA. So darkest future ahead, and just overall not looking forward to the future. Fan bases unoptimistic. And I have 3 that I'm thinking of. So if Pips takes my main one, which I think he might, I have a backup. So Pips, what do you think? Which team has the least bright future?
I think we have two that are we have all three the same. I'll like
Okay.
90% sure that we have
I
all.
think I think one of mine is a bit of a wild card, but let's see.
Okay, I don't have any wild cards, but I'll say, I mean, obviously the Bulls, the
That yeah,
Wizards, and the
yeah.
Lakers.
Okay, yeah, Lakers, you know what? I should have put Lakers in mine, but I have a 4th in that case. But let's
Yeah.
hear your Bulls. I'll talk about the Wizards. You talk about the Bulls.
So I don't know if you had a chance to look at the game last night. The Wizards.
The Bulls game.
Yeah.
I saw the score. That's for sure.
Did you saw the last possession?
Oh,
It
of
was
course I
huge all
saw.
over the
Of
internet.
course I saw the last possession in that
I
game.
watched it live and I was like, the fuck
So
just
hang on,
happened?
let me explain it to anybody who didn't see the end of the Bulls Wizards game. The Bulls were down by 3 with about 4 seconds left. They inbounded to Zach LaVine, who pump faked on the 3-point line and stepped inside to take a mid range 2, trying to bait. I think it was DeLon Wright into a foul and 1. So LaVine would have had to made the shot while getting fouled and then make the free throw, even though an NBA
To
player
go to the
like DeLon.
overtime.
Sorry?
To only to go to the overtime. Like,
Only to go to overtime, yeah, but he wanted DeLon Wright, an NBA player, to actually foul him when he knows he needed a 3 instead of a 2. But
and
yes, I did
Delon
see
Wright
that.
is actually one of the best defenders. So he's
Yeah,
very
and
smart
DeLon
when it
Wright,
comes to that.
a former
Yeah,
Raptor. I like DeLon Wright.
yeah. So like, what's the process? They're like, what are you doing? And yeah, you have Zach LaVine, who is terrible shot maker. I mean, I think with such shot selection, you have DeMar DeRozan and Nikola Vucevic, so like three main guys, all negative defenders, and Vucevic and DeRozan are actually pretty awful on defensive end. So there is no way you can compete with 3 awful defenders. So that's the first thing. The second thing, Nikola Vucevic is not the Nikola Vucevic they are created for. And the fourth thing, their future is like I would assume like Patrick Williams. That
Yeah,
that Kobe White, like they they are not in a great spot with the young guys because they are not performing very well. Obviously, I'd assume is great for a second round pick, but that's not someone you build. He's like third guy of the bench or 7 or 8 guy in the rotation for a decent team. But that's it. Patrick Williams. I mean, I have so many concerns about this guy. Like he will get a wide open 3 and then hit the top of the board like so many times. Like it's crazy. But I'm okay with him. I think he'll be a great player in the future. But still, nothing great about the Bulls. And Zach LaVine is for sure, for sure not a 40 million guy. I
yeah,
mean, I love Zach LaVine as my second score option on a good
yeah,
team.
yes,
Yeah. And but the team will need to be built around that you can't have negative defender of
exactly
that
the point I was going to
terrible
make.
shot selection on your team. So and DeMar DeRozan is great, but I don't know.
Let me read out to you what Zach LaVine is going to be making. He just signed a 5-year contract, and I'm going to read to you year by year how much he's going to make. So this year, 37, then 40, then 43, then 46, and then $49 million in 26, 27. So he's getting paid like the guy they need to build around. Their pick this year is it's top 14. I believe it's top 14 protected. It's top 4 protected. So that pick would go to the Magic this year. The Orlando Magic made off like bandits with that Vucevic trade.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
top 4 protected this year. I don't think it will slip into the top 4. They
we
have their
already
pick
talk
next year.
we already talk about like we probably both are taking Wendell Carter over with Nikola Vucevic at the moment.
Yes. Yeah.
And Franz
And
Wagner and all the picks. Like
yes, of course. And then 2025, their pick is top 10 protected. That's going to the Spurs as part of the DeRozan thing. It's top 10 protected. They might actually like get to draft in that spot, but then it becomes top 8 protected. And then it's top 8 protected in actually second and third year. I have it up right now. So not a ton of picks. It's not like detrimental for picks, but yeah, that's a bad situation because it looks like they're going to have to build around Zach LaVine. And I think Zach LaVine's a good player, just number 2 guy. Wizards is the one that that we both want to talk about. I'll switch over to the Wizards. So, first of all, for the Washington Wizards, they just have accepted mediocrity here. They paid Bradley Beal like somewhere around $50 million a year for the next 5 years. Not only have they done that, they gave Bradley Beal a no trade clause. And like in the NBA, no trade clauses are pretty close to unheard of unless you are like, I think David Robinson had one. I think LeBron has had one. Like you have to be a top 5, like maybe top 3 player in the league to get that. And Bradley Beal, respectfully, like he's still a great player, but I don't think he's a $50 million player. I think he's slightly like going to start declining year by year. And that contract's going to handcuff the Wizards. I don't see how they're going to be able to really build around that contract because Bradley Beal, I don't think he's the superstar that they need him to be. And draft pick wise, it's not like detrimental this year. Their pick is top 14 protected. That one is going to the Houston Rockets at some point. So I think you have that to look forward to as a fan. But the money they're paying Bradley Beal, not really any young talent around him because they never have a good draft pick because they're always too good to get a good draft pick. But they're not good enough to really make any sort of noise beyond just like a play-in tournament. Like the play-in tournament was made for teams like the Washington Wizards because it just provides a little bit more excitement for a team that really is going nowhere. If you're a Washington fan, I apologize. Maybe you're aware of how harsh this is, but Pips, I'm sure you agree with me on the Wizards.
Yeah, for sure. Like that draft protection, that trade protection is like so dumb. Like, why would you do that? Like,
Yeah,
unbelievable. And I actually, my friend is a fan of Wizards,
mm-hmm.
and I remember how he was so angry when they didn't pick Tyrese Halliburton with 8th pick in 2020. Like
Yeah,
that Tyrese was like I expected him to be like I don't know, like
7.
5th or 4th, like, and he was 12th. Like Tyrese Halliburton went as a 12th pick on that draft. If you have like
Have you ever seen the video of the Sacramento Kings office room when Halliburton slipped to 12th? There's
yeah,
grown
I
men,
don't know.
40, 56 years old, all huddled up, jumping for joy when they realized whoever was 11th passed on Halliburton and they managed to get him
Yeah,
at 12th.
yeah.
And
The
obviously
Spurs
that worked
picked
out.
yeah, the Spurs picked Devin Vassell, which turns out great also.
Right.
So they not only Wizards missed on Tyrese Halliburton, they also missed on Devin Vassell. And
Yes.
yeah, and
And
they were picking 9.
they took
So you
Hachim.
had no, they took Danny Avdia.
Right. That was that year.
Yeah, and
Okay.
that's like, and they were in the 9th place. So next pick were like Devin Vassell and Tyrese Halliburton.
Wow.
And the Suns, of course, picking Jalen Smith, who is probably not playing in the G League even.
He's with the Pacers, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's getting 10 minutes, 15 minutes of the bench. Like he's G League material player. Like I think he maybe can come around, but I'll just say like these two teams passed on Devin Vassell and Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah. I will say just quickly on that draft, I was extraordinarily high on Denny Avdia. That one was I was not ready
Yeah,
to
I
get that
was.
one.
I had. I mean, he's from Europe. He was playing in Europe, so I was very familiar with his game. But I had some concerns about his shooting for the NBA and how the league is going to that direction. If you
Hmm.
can shoot, you can play in the NBA. But he's great overall player, and I think he'll be a great role player in the league.
Yeah,
But I
he's
was
not
very
Tyrese
high
Halliburton.
on Tyrese and Devin Vassell. Like I was a huge fan, and yeah, I actually was happy when Spurs got the Devin Vassell. That's like great franchise to go for a young player. Like, but
Mhm.
I hated Kings and Tyrese. Man, that was yeah.
It ended up kind of working out for them. I still
Yeah.
people call that trade when they sent Halliburton to the Pacers. They got Sabonis. People are starting to call that a win-win trade, as well as Sabonis is playing. I don't consider this a win-win trade. Halliburton
Yeah.
is the prize of that one. I get there's other stuff involved, but no.
I would
Maybe like
say
it's not a good fit around De'Aaron Fox, but I can't believe they traded Halliburton for real.
it's the matter of perspective. Of course, the Pacers get the better player, and I think I will grade like 60-40 for the Pacers. It's currently 50-50. I mean, if you look how they play, but for the future, of course, it's
Yes,
Tyrese Halliburton. Yeah, of
that's
course.
what I'm trying to get at. All right, so I don't want to take too long in this topic. Pip said the Lakers. We all know why the Lakers are in a bad spot. I actually I want to take a quick minute on a wild card that I want to throw in here. Are we completely sold on the Los Angeles Clippers? Because obviously, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard are here, and they're here for this plus 2 more years. They have no draft. They don't control any of their draft assets for the foreseeable future. All the picks are going to OKC or there's swaps. They haven't really come that close to winning an NBA championship. They got to a conference final that it never looked like they were going to win. Sure, injuries are part of that here, but I would say this all-in era of the Clippers has not worked out. It's been kind of a failure, and I get Steve Ballmer's money is always going to be able to bail them out, but is this a market that's going to continuously be able to bring in free agents to play with these guys? I'm not so sure. So I don't know your thoughts on that. I don't think they're the worst. They're not as bad as the Lakers, the Wizards, or the Bulls. But do you kind of see the way I'm kind of trending with the Clippers here?
You said the Clippers going for contenders didn't work out. It never did. Like entire history of the Clippers is
Yeah,
failed franchise. Like they had so many good teams that could compete, but they never did. Like they always were second round exit, second round exit, second round. Like that's like for like 2 decades now. And I actually have concerns about them winning the championship because I think they're a really good team and they can win the championship. And that was the thing for the last I don't know how many years. But this season there is no, and obviously some will say like it's difficult to win a championship when you have when you are in the same conference as Golden State Warriors or the last couple of years. But they never even went out against the Golden State Warriors like when they were
that's
a
true.
good team. Like they
That's
were
true.
getting annihilated, but some lower seeds and yeah, I
The
just
3-1
yeah
to the
just not
Nuggets, the
yeah.
Phoenix Suns conference
And
finals.
I understood when Doc Rivers was there, like his complete failure of the coach in the playoffs. I
That's
like
funny.
that's for sure. But I like Tyler Lue. I think he's one of the best coaches in the league. And if they can't make it this season, yeah, I see your point completely. I think that team will fall apart. Like, and then don't have any draft assets. Then don't have anything. Like, this is the year that they need to make some good run, or things won't work out well.
Oh, and by the way, along with all those picks they sent to OKC, if in case anybody forgot, they also sent OKC Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah,
So, oh, yeah, you have to
yeah.
see that as a bit of a failure. All right, let's move on from this topic. Let's go into the official picks segment on today's show. 3 same game parlays coming away looking for a bounce back Thursday, and it's an unusually more loaded than usual Thursday for picks. So the first one is in the Hornets at Raptors game. It's nice to have these back-to-back games for betting because you can really see how defensive schemes worked just 2 nights prior. So I'm wondering if that is in play here as we go to this one.
Yeah, that can be a trap sometimes because if one thing work, the other coach be adjust and they have
Right.
like some period to just prepare for that game, looking at the last one. But our pick for this game is Gary Trent Jr. over 16.5 points combined with LaMelo Ball over 6.5 assists, which is minus 115 at DraftKings. I really like this spot. There are some obvious reasons. First one is OG Anunoby defending LaMelo Ball, and when he tries to drive, they bring second and third guy, and they're just icing him on defense, sending him to the corners, setting him wide, and don't letting him drive to the rim, which is probably one of the greatest ways to defend LaMelo Ball, and also one of the best defensive schemes to have for a ball handler to have as many assists as he can have. And in the last game, he ended up with 14 assists, which is like something he's getting there. Like he had 12, 12, 9, 11, so now 14 assists. So he's really like setting in the Tyrese Halliburton mode where he's like just completely or running the offense by himself. And I think half of these assists were like to Plumlet for a dunk or a layup, and I can see that again. But I'm not betting Plumlee over 13.5 points. That seems like
No.
one of the craziest things someone can do.
Yeah.
And so I'm going with the assist and Gary Trent Jr. Like I spoke about it, I think like two or three shows ago because the bookies he was like on a tier and 3 straight games the bookies didn't over his line and finally we get his line. And I actually like him going over 19.5 points, but I'm taking this a bit safer because it's Gary Trent Jr. and I'm
Freaky.
not a huge fan of his consistency.
Yes.
And but if you take a look at this is like you can't be more consistent than this. Like it's like perfect graph to show. And this is Gary Trent Jr. last 10 games in 26 or more minutes. And I actually think with the great form, he'll get 35 minutes tonight, probably.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, he's there for the last couple of games, he's their most reliable scorer besides Siakam.
Yeah.
Fred will have like 38 and then 8 points next game. So I will never bet on him. But another great thing, he is guarded by LaMelo Ball, who is probably the worst defensive player on that Hornets team. So I also like that. And Lamelo is someone that can make stupid fouls, completely lose his guy on defense. And with Gary Trent Jr., he's decent off ball. He's moving decently off the ball.
Yep.
He's getting good looks, and there is no shot that he doesn't like. So that's a great thing about his overs.
Nope.
And yeah, and he's actually a streaky guy. So he's currently on a great streak, and that can maintain for like a month. And he will shoot like 70% from three in like 10 game stretch. He'll end up the season at 35% shooter. So when he's at the top, he's really, really good. But when he's down, he can shoot 2 from 25. So hopefully we get another decent efficiency game from him.
Yeah.
And yeah, I watched the last game, and if they deployed the same defensive scheme, this should pretty easily cash.
Yeah, with Gary Trent, start of the year, he wasn't playing well, so they moved him to the bench where then he really was playing well. So now he's back in the starting five. Raptors, you don't have a great bench when they don't have great bench production. Their starters play close to like 40 minutes, so there could be a ton of minutes here for Gary Trent on this bet. So nice spot over there. And you were to talk about how he clears the line at like 26 minutes, so he might play more than 10 minutes more than that. So nice spot on that one. Let's move to the second pick in the Mavericks and Lakers game. And here is the same game parlay.
We have two same game parlays for the same game, and both same game parlays are for Dallas Mavericks. And I'll talk about why. But first is Christian Wood over 17.5 points combined with Spencer Dinwiddie 3.5 assists, which is minus 115 on DraftKings. So why are we betting this, and why do we like all these kind of bets for this game? Because Luka Doncic is the highest usage player and the highest scorer on the Dallas, and Lakers were just like throwing all five players on him. Like that's probably the most ridiculous double teaming I've seen in the entire season. So the thing is, Christian Wood in that game scored 30 points. And with not Anthony Davis, I think there is no one to stop Christian Wood with so much focus on Luka Doncic. The game is just open ups for him, and he with now rim protection, and he is just annihilating inside. I mean, I think everyone knows. I mean, everyone that follows the NBA knows that Christian Wood is probably one of the best offensive finishers in the entire league. Like that's, I don't think that's even questionable. Like I would say, like he's top 10 big finisher, not centers, but big finisher in the league. But the problem with him is on his defensive side. So his offense is unbelievable, and I really like this spot for him. And with them, Dallas being shorthanded, he's playing 30 plus minutes. And when he's playing 30 plus minutes, he has average of 22 and a half points. And he's clearing this line pretty easily. I think it's like 80% of the time, 75 to 80% of the time. And in this positive matchup, it's so much focus on Luka. I like this. The second part of this bet is Spencer Dinwiddie. In that game, he had 8 assists on 15 potential assists, and Luka had 16 potential assists. So with all that focus on Luka Doncic, they gave the ball to Spencer Dinwiddie more and went with Luka a little bit off the ball, so they can't double him as much, because when he's tapping the ball, of course, they just came to him and double team him and move the ball away from him. But when he's catching it off the ball, attacking in the movement, he can get easier to the free throw line, and it's a even bigger collapse of the defense. So Spencer Dinwiddie, with having more on ball reps, I think he should clear this line pretty easily. He had doubled this line last game, so that's the first bet.
Yeah, so that matchup was on Christmas Day, and I did watch this one. The Lakers, as much as they put a focus on Doncic, he still had 32, 9, and 9. But he got out to a little bit of a slow start because there was such a focus on him. So pull up the third one here, the third pick in the same game. I would like, as you're kind of explaining this, also, I am just curious, what is, I guess, what is the thought process that goes into putting who with who? So why is Wood with Dinwiddie, and why do you put Hardaway here with Luka Doncic for the third pick?
So it's because I don't mind combining, but Hardaway Junior line is minus 190. So if I put
I
Dinwiddie
see.
with
So
him,
it's just
I'll get plus 120, and other way around, I'll get minus 150. So I'll just get into the lines because I like all these spots. So the Hardaway Junior part is like he's shot 14 wide open threes against the Lakers in the last game. 14.
do you
And
think
he made the six
that
out
was
of them.
by design though by the Lakers to leave him open?
I don't know, but he's the one that feels like whenever he'll just tuck, tuck.
Right.
It's like he's not thinking. Like if you have wide open Reggie Bullock or Spence or Dinwiddie or Pavel or any of these guys, like they will just get the ball and have a second to think, do they want to shoot or not? Like, and if someone is close to contest, they will probably give up. There is no such thing with Hardaway Jr. Like if he is catching the ball and he has enough room to shoot, he doesn't care. He's just
He's shooting.
bang.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if he gets like 10, I mean, he can score 3 in like 8 tries. So I think him getting 10 or more is like huge volume. And he's actually shooting pretty well over the last couple of weeks. I mean, since he
Sorry.
I think
Pips is
it was
cutting out
like
a bit. You cut out a little bit there.
a
Sorry.
month ago when he started. Oh, sorry. So it's now
I think
working
you're good
okay.
now. Yeah, you're good now.
Okay, so Yeah, since Gary Trent Jr. Went to starting the games, he's just clearing this line easily. And if you take a look at the game, he's not playing like 36 minutes a game. That's a rare thing in his career. And he's actually clearing this line pretty easily. Like he scored three or more threes in last 14 out of the 19 games. That's 75% clear rate. And with such a positive matchup and such a high clip rate, I think this is a great spot. And obviously, Luka Doncic 7 assists in a game where he will be like throwing double teams. And yeah, I mean, that's probably the case in most of the games for Luka Doncic. Yeah, of course. But he cleared this line in like, I think it's like 26 out of the last 28 games. So that's like 90% clear rate. And there was games where he was given single coverage and still clear this line. And we have terrible defense of Lakers, high pace of Lakers, and double teams on Luka Doncic. So I just think Luka Doncic should. I wouldn't be surprised if he covered this in halftime. So
Wow. All
yeah.
right. So a lot of confidence in this.
So I just hope that there is no unexpected blowout because the line spread is 2.5 and Lakers are playing at home, and Lakers actually played some great basketball over the last couple of games, and Dallas did not. So I just think I just hope it does stay close.
So, I mean, injuries are always going to be a concern now with the Lakers. Guys resting are sometimes a concern. A little bit less today because LeBron sat out last game, so he should be playing today. So the threat of a blowout is diminished quite a bit by that. So really love the spots here. And I like the confidence in the Mavericks-Lakers game based on the matchups. But to recap, all three picks here. First of all, Hornets at the Raptors tonight. Gary Trent Jr. over 16.5 points paired with LaMelo Ball over 6.5 assists. Sorry for the typo there. Minus 115 at DraftKings. And this is why a lot of consistency from Gary Trent Jr. recently as it comes to his scoring since re-entering the starting five for the Raptors. Then we're going to the Mavericks and Lakers game for the next two same game parlays. First of all, Christian Wood over 17.5 points is paired with Spencer Dinwiddie over 3.5 assists. That is minus 115 at DraftKings. And the second one on the same game parlay is Hardaway over 2.5 threes paired with Doncic over 6.5 assists, minus 110 also at DraftKings. So 3 bets looking to bounce back today. Hopefully no injuries here. We've had back-to-back days of injuries. A little bit of bad luck. Let's hope for some good luck tonight as we have these 3 same game parlays. Remember, guys, you want to see more content like this, subscribe to the Board NBA on YouTube. Help us on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and make sure to smash that like button to help this appear on some more YouTube recommended pages. If you're listening in podcast form, please rate and review 5 stars. And also, if you guys want more betting content beyond just the NBA, visit thehammer.bet in your browser, thehammer.bet, for more sports betting content, especially as we get into NFL playoff season. Thank you again, guys. Let's hope these picks cash. And myself and Pips, we will see you tomorrow for more from Pick and Roll.